Hey everyone, I'm so glad to see that 5 people have asked for a review of their homepage. Remember, we're doing this for free. So if you got a homepage and you want us to just have a look or comment on your flow or your content or how it looks, any areas of improvement, whether it be on the desktop or the mobile, and we'll check your page speed insights as well. Make sure you email us. The email is in the description, info@websquadron.co.uk. Or you can drop a comment in here as well with a link to your website and what your website is all about and who your ideal clients are. So we've got 5 websites we're going to go through here. I'm going to give them a real honest review of what I like and what I don't like. So let's get cracking with the first one. So the first website is Minhas, and it's meant to be like an e-commerce website. And at the moment, the look of it is actually quite nice, even though the logo is very close to the left edge over there that you can see. It still looks pretty nice to me. It's got a very unique feel to the hero banner there with the logo. Sometimes though, I would say, do you really need to repeat your company name again? However, I can't fully understand this, even though I've done a translate on, so it probably means something very wonderful. But I do sometimes wonder, could you maybe say something a little bit different on the hero banner? I do like the logo. I like the search bar over there. I like the fact you've got the account and the cart, and you've also got this little button here. Now, this is, I'm assuming, your basket, which I think it is, and that's quite nice. You've got a unique feel to your website. However, where you've got this basket and then you've got this over here, it almost slightly feels like you're repeating yourself. So if I click that, that's just going to give me the cart. I get that. But if I click that, that goes to checkout. And someone could easily get confused with that. In terms of the menu coming in, I think your menu coming in from the right-hand side would be better. I mean, I get this, but I think because your navigation is on the right-hand side, I would consider have it coming in from the right-hand side as well. It would just feel it would make more sense. It just jarred me a bit that it came in from the left. But otherwise, the font, it fits with the logo. It fits kind of with what the audience is you're trying to approach. I think that kind of works. Let's just have a look at the drop downs here. So at the moment, now there was a bit of a delay when I clicked there in terms of how long it took before it went to the category. When I hit that menu, and I'm going to go back to the home page here, I was assuming that to be a drop down. It felt like a drop down to me. And I would maybe say by not having the chevrons, I might now know that when I click it, it's going to go elsewhere. The chevron there made me think it was a drop down, and it wasn't. It was actually a category, taking you off to a page. So watch out for that, because whenever we see a chevron up, down, below, whatever, we automatically assume drop down, or I do anyway. When we go down here, I have to be honest, I do think that you need to space out your columns here, or your categories, because you've got some spacing between the rows. We can see that clearly here. But I would say you've got none between the columns, and it just looks a little bit too tight. I'm just going to double check something. So what I've done is, and I've done it without recordings, I've stretched the screen and back again, and those columns stay roots tight against one another. Get some spacing in. In fact, I would say you really need to space this out. I would try and go for at least 20 pixels spacing between the rows, and at least 20 pixel between the categories as well. Just give it a bit of breathe. In fact, I would even go further and say you got to do about 40. Go 40 in the rows and 40 on the columns. Space it out. Give it breathing space. The images are nice and bright. I like the images. I do like that. Down here, though, we now have a slight break. So this, I'm assuming, is going to be your blog post. So let's just click here, dropshipping mindset. Yeah, it is a blog post. I'm not going to do your other pages, but because I've clicked, I'm just going to point out you need to get your single post archive page set up, okay? Because the font on here and the styling is not looking great. But I'm going to assume you haven't finished that off yet. But the styling of these blog posts, it is very different to what you've got for the categories above. And if you're going to have a red border around here, you got to think about what you're doing for your post as well, because you're setting a pattern, a theme within your pages. Again, I would definitely space these out over here. Get this further down. Get at least 60, 70 pixels before you get to these posts, because it's just too cramped. In fact, I'm going to go back up here. I think your hero banner as well. That is fine, that size. But what I would say over here, this catalog, I would have 60 pixels and push it down. And I would actually add some spacing here as well. So where you got your hero banner, maybe do 50 pixels margin at the top and 50 pixel margin at the bottom. Just space it out a little bit. Just letting the page breathe makes it easier to look at and is easier on the eye. And we scroll down and we then get to your footer. I don't think you need the shape divider here. I really don't. I will just give this it's like a grey. I would give it a slightly darker grey color maybe, but you don't need that shape divider because you're not using that divider anywhere else. And if you're not using it anywhere else, that just looks like you've just added it in or it was a mistake. So I would get rid of the shape divider. Consistency. I'm not liking this navigation bar, which isn't linking to anything yet, but I'm not liking that. What you're better off doing is if you have got a menu system or something, you either list them down like an icon list or something else. But I'm not a big fan of that on the desktop version because I shouldn't have to click to look at it. It should just be spelt out for me. Over down here though, space these out a bit better. So where you've got your descriptions, your address, spaced out a bit. It's just looking a little bit too cramped down there. Okay, do 10 to 15 pixels. Line height for your typography. Do your line height there. Now I'm very quickly going to just check what does your website look like on a mobile. So on the mobile, it does look really nice. The top bit, actually, I have to say. Again, the same thing about the cart. And the carriage over here, I know they're slightly different in what they do, but do you really need both? The menu, again, have it come in from the left. Take away, don't have these chevrons if they are not drop downs. You can make the logo a bit bigger because at the moment, all of this is domineering the logo, right? So I would make the logo a little bit bigger. This here, the search bar, you've got to get some spacing, at least 20 to 30 pixels before you hit the hero banner. The wording in there is very close to the edge of the phone. I would bring it in a little bit. Have about 15 pixels padding. In fact, you're going to have to do 15 pixels padding left and right all the way down the page because even these, they're really up close. I can see what you've done here with having everything nice and tight. I get it. But that does look quite small. And rather than having a 3x3, you might want to think about doing a 2x2. And I know you're going to say, but I've got 9. So how do I do a 2x2 with a 9? You just got to play around with it and think about what you're doing here. But, by having it like that with the little diamond in there because of the curved border radiuses all around one another, it doesn't look as good. And if you're going to stick with the 9, the 3x3, I'm tempted that you get rid of the borders. So on the mobile, you can keep the border radius of 25, whatever you've got there. You can keep that. When you get to mobile, you can change that back to 0. So now it's just a square. You could get away with it if it was a square, but that with the circle, it just looks like too much of a pattern. And I'm actually noticing the spaces there more than the content. My eye is drawn into the middle there. A bit more spacing here. I'd have about 40, 50 pixels. Again, look here. Can you see how it's not mirroring up very well? Can you see we have space here, left and right of the blog post archives, but you've got no space. You got hardly any space up here. So you've got to have consistency in your spacing. So this spacing here should be mirrored all the way up the page, all the way to the top. So try and keep consistency in there. Get rid of the shape divider again. Just think about the placement of this. I would have all of your address, in fact, on the left-hand side, column 1. Then you have this on column 2 with your WhatsApp. And if we go down here to your desktop, your address should be in column 1. And then that navigation bar should be in column 2 or however you're going to display it. Space it out. In fact, maybe have 3 columns. Column 1 is the logo, the address. Column 2 is the phone and your email. Column 3 is your sitemap or your navigation or however you're going to do that. color wise, it does work for me quite well. I do like it. It does. I get that vibe. I instantly get the vibe of what this website is about, and the typography you got is fine. But in fact, I will say this one here, Nosso Catalogo, I would make that just a little bit weightier, just a tiny bit weightier than it is at the moment. Now I'm going to check your website for the page speed score. Desktop score is coming out at 93. I think there's definitely room for improvement there, okay? Because getting 99 or 100 on desktop is actually really, really simple. And the issues we're getting here, I bet are going to be the same for the mobile, because your mobile score is hitting 63%. One of the reasons for that, I can quite clearly tell here, you can see the amount of time it's taking to load everything up. And some people don't care a lot about this, but look, your images at the moment are all in a JPEG format. Not everyone's going to agree with me here, but you've got images here that are like 1.1 megabytes. You need to compress and optimize them. Go for WebP, but you've got to get your images down. I mean, you've got images here that are width of 800 pixels, and I would say you might want to do a bit of scaling. In WordPress library, maybe scale them down to exactly how big do they need to be for your screen. I don't think you need to have images that are 800 wide if they're just going to be like demonstrated in these little squares over here. I don't think that's right. And also consider the WebP format, because it will make an impact. I mean, look, that is a big alarm bell ringing there for your images. I haven't done a check of your plugins because I don't want access to that. But I can clearly see that you have got. Have you got any optimization plugins installed? Please watch our video on Autoptimize, asset cleanup as well. Because if you've got WooCommerce, there'll be things loading on your homepage that don't need to be loaded. So you definitely want to have a think about that and play around with it, okay? But look, properly sizing your images. If your image that you've got in there is only whatever size, you can scale it and you can shave off time. A lot of this, though, is due to the size of your images, if I'm honest. So you can sort that out so easily. Server speed time, that's just down to your server. That's always going to hit you at some point. But also, have you preloaded your fonts as well? So please go watch the optimization video. I think overall, your website, it's got a good feel to it, but I think it needs spacing, better padding, consistency in the size of the images, and just a lot of spacing. If you can crack that, it will work for you so much better. I hope that helps. And we're on to our second website, Gamenad.com. I have to say, I was very intrigued by this one as soon as it opened up. Like that Lottie effect they've got with the logo. There's always something I say about don't have too many animations, motion effects going on. But there is something so poetic about that logo. It is on point. It is nice. Well done, my friend. That is a wonderful, wonderful logo. I really like that. What I will say, though, is I'm not a fan. This is just me being subjective. I'm not a fan of the underline pointer. I don't think you need to do this. I really don't. You can keep it, but I don't think you need to do the underline. You can just leave it as it is. Request demo. Let's just click it and just see what it does. It takes me to the bottom of the page. Okay, I like that. One thing we are missing, we've jumped the gun a little bit here, is we're missing a button to take me back to the top. So I think a sticky button maybe, in the bottom corner, when you click it, it takes me right back to the top would be good. So I don't have to scroll all the way back up, for instance. Again, the request demo, that is good. We've got it there and we've got it there. So we've got a bit of a call to action. I do like the icon or the image you've got there as well. That is good. It's keeping with what the website is about. Now, I don't know what this website's about, actually, because the description was not there. So it's Gamenad. I can see a control pad. I'm starting to think of like Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendos and things like that. Your 360 service agency for premium HTML games. It's kind of telling me that this is offering a premium service, and it's 360, which is like, A to Z, the full circle from concept to production to review and all of that. That is kind of really, really good. And I think as a headline, it's not overselling itself, but it's not underselling either. I like the color. I like the layout. Looking at the blues here now, and I have to say, when I get down to this blue here, I can see how I think you're using this highlight color here. But I'm just wondering if, I don't mind the blue color here, but you see this Gamenad that you've got here. I'm just wondering if that would have looked better in white. And you're probably thinking, what? And the reason I'm saying that is you've already got a blue here, you've got blue here, and I know that's your highlight color, but sometimes you need a third color. And because you've got white in here, which why wouldn't you have white in a dark color? I think Gamenad in white is gonna just it's gonna merge better, because at the moment you go dark blue, bright blue, dark blue, bright blue. It goes do do do. The white is almost just gonna give a gradual pop to this bit here. That's just my opinion though, okay? I think it will make this pop more, because every time I look at the screen, my eye keeps going there. And then I notice that. You put that in white, I'm going to notice that a lot more. That's just my opinion though. You know, what do I know? You don't have to listen to me, but I'm just saying I would put that Gamenad in white. Down here, the Our Services. I'm not sure about this font here, and I'm going to say try and find a different font to partner up with what you've got here. It feels a little bit too standard. So the font you've got here and the button are fine, but I would go for Railway if I was you. Railway is thinner. You know, like it's more taller in the way. I would go for Railway, and I think Railway for here, that one, and Railway for that will work better. It will just add a little bit of a differentiation, but it kind of should go with the... I'm guessing you've got Roboto there. I'm guessing Roboto. But yeah, I like the image. Trusted by. I like the spacing. You know, the spacing is good. Spacing is good. I like this working process. Choose your services. This is all nice. I mean, you got a form and the images are nice and the footer is nice, except the social media. The social media, I am going to say that rather than you using the common colors, instead, you use your website colors. So put these in the dark blue color. Custom color, dark blue, right? And either shrink the padding a little bit so they're smaller in size, or give them a little bit more spacing. They're just a little bit close, because everything is nicely spaced out. And then you get to that and it's like a little bit tight. So either space it out a bit or shrink them a little bit so the spacing comes, because you've shrunk them down. Overall, all right, that is a nice, lovely website. Seriously, I like it. Oh, sorry, did I check? Yeah, I did. Let's go to your mobile. The logo, again, looks brilliant. Love it. Can you see what I mean here? I'm looking at the Gamenad, and then I see your 360. Put the Gamenad in white. I would actually drop the font size of this, because I think it is spaced out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. I would shrink that, maybe go for REM, I don't know, 2.5, 2.6 or something. Shrink it a little bit so that is reduced to be 4 lines. Because if we go to your here, it's 4 lines here. That looks really cool. Try and get that to be 4 lines as well. Can you see the look of that? It reads and looks nice. Premium HTML, 1 line. 360 service, 1 line, right? 360 service on another line. Premium HTML, when they separate, they feel separate in your brain and the way you look at it. So I would try and get them on 4 lines again. Your menu, I would say, okay, that you want to make the background color of your menu match the background color of your website. So that bluey color, get that to match, because it will look nicer, okay? Trust me, because it will blend, because now the white, it's popping a bit too much. Get it to blend better with the similar color. The images are good. You've got some padding here on the left and right, but that padding, if you were to draw a line, right, look at that line, it doesn't match here. We're not getting that same space. So for consistency, just get it to match there on the left and right, okay? This is fine. This is fine. That's okay as well, except I would, over here, add about 30 pixels more. I would do at least 30 to 40 pixels there. And I would do 30 to 40 pixels there. Just space it out a bit more because they don't have to be so close together, one after one another, okay? Again, the left and right padding here, move it inwards a little bit. And whatever size you go for here, make sure you replicate that REM font size with all the other headers as well, all right? Consistency, get it consistent. Again, the padding, left and right, padding, and again, space out over here. Overall, it is really good. Just a bit of work on the mobile and you're there with it. Now, when we come to do your page speed score, your desktop is 91, okay? And I can see what the issues are. It's going to be the same for your mobile as well. 63, I don't know if you've got any optimization plugins. Go and watch the video if you're unsure. Next gen, so your images at the moment are in PNG. Compress PNG, that's half a meg. If you compress that to JPEG, I bet it will go down to 200 or 150 kilobytes. Then when you convert it to WebP, it'll probably go down to about, 20, 30 kilobytes. Makes a big difference. Okay, so that will improve your page speed score. Auto-optimize. Go and have a look at our page speed score video, okay? I think you can improve there. And properly size images, just double check. So you got an image here, which, to be honest though, look, there is a big saving here. However, if you compress your images and get them into WebP, the impact of this will be negligible, all right? But sort that out. And make sure you're preloading any fonts as well. Look, you've got loads of fonts here. You need to get these preloaded, okay? You're using Google Fonts here. So auto-optimize or custom fonts, Roboto, whatever you're using, Railway, get them preloaded. This could make a big impact on your score and get you at least to the 85-90% bracket if you just improve on that. I hope that helps, but I have to say that is a really nice looking website. Really, really like it. Just a bit of polishing up. Well done. We're on to our third site. This is called Acoso Services. I'm going to hit return just to show you how the page loads up. Okay, so when it loads up, there's a bit of animation going on there. And the animation actually isn't that bad. They're just things floating in, which is fine. I have to say, though, that the basis of this website, if I just read it, is business owners looking for tech services. So media companies that want some videography or media agency. What they're hoping for is to trigger a sale. Okay, now, what I would say, though, is how may we help feels a little bit too much like, well, what do you want? Why did you come here? If your website is on Google or wherever, or you're advertising it, and you're telling people that you can do X, they probably already know roughly what you can do, and they've come to you. So how may we help? I don't think is a good idea, and I would actually lose that line completely. I'm not a fan of this italics, if I have to be honest. So where you've got home in italics, just have it as non-italic. Because what it does is that italic grey breaks the structure of that navigation menu. You got, normal in black text, the about and services, the spacing, but I spaced them out a little bit better because you got this contact button here, which, the spacing doesn't look right there. So have a look at your spacing. I know you got a drop down there, but it just looks a bit off. They look close, the first three, and then contact's a bit further away. But lose the italic. Honestly, just have it as normal black. Get rid of this, because I just don't think it serves any purpose. These three here you could keep, push them up a bit, have them start roughly where the how is, further up. But this is where you now have to be careful. So you're saying, I want to build a website app. And then you say, we can help you build a website application. I need technology support. We will provide that. I need to create video content. We will do that. Well, you don't need to have these questions in. What you should say is, we can help you build a website and application. Have it in that size font, but lose the header. Have this in that size font, lose the header. Have this in the header, the headline font, lose the header. Okay, you don't need that. We can help you edit, produce, and develop video content, right? That is going to be speaking to me and make so much more sense than what you got. But if I was looking for high quality work, I can see here on your image, you've obviously ripped out the background of that image. Because look, there's a bit of you know, like, I can't remember what the word's called now. There's an anomaly there. Can you see it just there? Can you see that anomaly, everyone? Just over there. So you're telling me you can do this, and I go to it, and I can see, hold on, there's a bit of anomaly. So if you are going to put stuff on there, make sure it is strong and crisp and shows off what you can do. Not a criticism, just a bit of friendly advice there. But, you know, lose the text here, move it up, and just move the images down a little bit, and that will work fine. But, you know, you're telling people, you come here, this is what we can do. Right? This is what we can do. What's then missing is the call to action. So if I want to build a website app, like I go over here to services, you've got them here. Consulting, sites and apps and media. Right, I want a website app. Where do I go? I want a video. Where do I go? There's no buttons here. There's no call to action. So great. Oh, sorry, there is actually. I'm talking rubbish. If I hover over it. Sorry, that's my fault. So right, I noticed this as well on when I first loaded it. This has taken me to the apps page, right? If I go back again, if I go to video, can you see there's a delay? Now that delay means that either you've got some DNS delay, you've either switched to HTTPS recently, or you need to go and just do a WordPress optimization clean of your databases. Regenerate your CSS, purge your site, purge your server, okay? Double check what optimization plugins you got on, but you've got a delay going on there. And that delay can switch people off when they see that. Look, it changes. You see that? So go and check your server, go and check optimization plugins as well. So sorry, the call to action is not there, but you have got hover. But then again, someone might not realize that. So I would say it's not a bad idea to still have a button or something, or click. Just say click, click, click for more. Click for details, something like that. The who are we? I noticed that you got the button here to take you back to the top. That is good. That is good. However, most of us are used to having that on the right-hand side, because when we're working with our mouse, we tend to work in this diagonal fashion, going left to right. So I'm now over here, because the scroll bar is here maybe, and now I've got to go all the way to the left to click the button. So I would say move your navigation back to the top, over to the right-hand side. It works better there. Believe me, it does. So who we are. I'm not really feeling this image. It doesn't, I mean, I can see it relates to your, I mean, it doesn't fully match with your logo. Your logo is pastel colors. Then we go to a bright yellow. So we've gone from pastel-y to bright yellow, strong, bold yellow. Then we move on to proper bold. And I would say if you're going to have pastel-y colors, this blue here needs to be pastel-y as well. I would soften these blues as well now. And I would get this to be a softer yellow, and soften these colors. It's about your color palette. You're setting a theme and a pattern. Don't take this as criticism. This is just me helping you out with how to make it blend better. Get this to be the softer blue, whatever was the blue you had in the logo. Definitely space it. I mean, you've got like, I don't know, what are we looking at? 70, 80 pixels here. And over here, we've got about 20. You got to get 70, 80 there as well. Even out the spacing at the top and bottom. It makes a big difference as to how we view sites. A few of our clients, that does not need to be that big. You could halve that, because you're turning that into a key headline. Make it a subheader instead. The logos, the way they come in with the color, that's nice. That's good. I like that. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Client testimonials, make it a subheader, drop it down. Again, this is okay in terms of sizing. We are techies and we are... Now look, this should be at the top of your website. That there, okay, that we do all of this should have been here. How may we help is irrelevant. That should be up there. So I think you need to get that at the top. And even this, you know, you could even argue that, you know, this bit here, all of this, right, these 4 icons, right, underneath this, before we get to who we are, you now have 4 columns with those. You know, this is what we do. Because you're now no one's going to care about who you are until they're convinced by the top bar, and this is going to help them. Cost savings, professionalism, free consultation, engaging content. You need to get that in underneath here before we get to who we are. So just reorder it. And then you got your contact us, space that out a bit more, just a bit of line spacing. This does not need to be the full width, if I'm honest. This could just be half a column. Doesn't need to be that wide. It's quite wide in what it's doing. And then you got contact again at the bottom, then your social. I'm not going to go too much on about that. That's looking okay, but this could be halved in size, really. And if I'm honest, you've already got a contact tab over here. So I'm actually going to say, like, is this a one-page site? Let me just check. So at the minute, you haven't linked this up. No. So look, you've got a separate contact us page, right? You don't need to have contact down here. This does not need to be here. You can get rid of it. You've already got it over somewhere else and it looked nicer. Get rid of the contact us here. You don't need it. How does this look on the mobile? So get rid of the header. I get what this does. It's slightly different. You can get away with the menu being like that, but I would have preferred it being full width, if I'm honest. And again, look at these images. They're too close to the top. Bring them further down. Bring the images further down. That background image is irrelevant to the mobile because it gets totally hidden. Watch out for your header sizes. Look, a few of our clients dropped that down massively. This is too much now. So what you need to do is have two columns here, not one column. Okay, 2 columns, because otherwise, look, I'm scrolling. It's too much. Have it as 2 columns. Okay, have it as 2 columns. Drop the size there. You're going to have to space out the testimonials. They look too tight on the mobile. Space those out. Because look, I know there is spacing there, but look, I can see the name, a new one, but they start to merge a little bit. This should be at the top. This, again, space this out a little bit. But look, there's no consistency in the spacing. So don't overlook the fact that just because it might work on the desktop, you got to look at your spacing. In fact, if I go to the desktop again, I missed that. So that's all in one line. And then this, it's staggered. So swap them. I would have engaging content here and get professionalism here. Swap them. And then make sure the second line are level. Because you've got 2 medium, a small and medium over there, and then 2 bigger ones over here. So this is weighs more than that. Get it to match a little bit, mirror a little bit. And if we just look at the rest of the mobile, get rid of the contact us form, and the footer is fine. Okay, but what about your page speed scores? Your desktop is 66%. Okay, so your images are taking a while to load up there, okay? And seriously look at that, because 66 on a desktop is worrying. 25 on mobile, I was expecting a low value there. You can see here what's happening. You've got like the HTML loading first before you get the web page. So check your optimization plugins. What are you using? What are your settings for that? Switch them off and double check. Purge your site, purge your server. Check your image sizes as well. Get your images into WebP, which isn't an issue, but I think there's something not right with your optimization plugins if you are using any. But purge your site. Maybe do a WordPress optimization plugin cleanup as well. But I think there's a bit of work to do there. you're on the right path, but you just need to take a step back and have a real good think about your sizing and your spacing and what you've got going on here. Look, I hope this helps you. I know it's not always nice to hear someone talk about your website like this or something. However, consider the places of improvement and you will get there, my friend. We're on to our fourth site, and this one is actually quite nice. Don't be fooled by the fact it looks like the header text is right up against the left. It's just due to the size of the screen because I've squashed things up a little bit. But other than that, it is really nicely laid out. I like the effect of the person almost popping off the screen a little bit there as they're jumping up. I like that. Unlimited calls, it's telling me what I get. It's giving me a price. Do I want to continue? It's really good. And the color scheme, especially with the top here and the bottom, there's a theme. And the fact the person mirrors the yellow and the blue jeans, the denim, whatever, that is really, really good. We've got some icons up here. So these are going to take us to different areas of the website. That's a funky way of doing things. I know not everyone likes this because they go, well, what does that mean? But it kind of works in a way because you can hover and I can see that this is going to the blog. This is going to our channel partners. Cart, check out all of that. It works quite well and they've got some information at the top. At the moment, I'm quite liking that. What I don't like is this little white spacing here. And I'm going to suggest that they get rid of that white space. I can see why they've done it. But if I'm honest, I wouldn't have that there. I would just get rid of that white spacing because it just broke my liner. And I know the yellow to blue feels a bit stark, like you're jumping from one color to another. But I think that white bar there, it starts to feel like, was that an afterthought or a mistake? But I would get rid of that. And I would probably add a bit more yellow padding at the bottom there. So where you've got your yellow padding, I would just do about 60 pixels. Get a bit more because you've got quite a bit of blue there. That's just a little bit short. So increase that. I like the images here. I like the curvature. I do like this nice hover effect. That is nice. It's popping a bit. I can see there's a shape divider here. Now, here's where you might want to think. If you're going to have a shape divider there underneath, you might want to think about doing a shape divider here as well. So what you might want to consider is where you've got this blue, maybe increase the padding there to be about, let's go for, 150, let's just say, right? You get rid of the white gap, and then for that section, you do a top shape divider with this yellowy color or gradient or whatever you want to use. And then you get that to blend in with that one because you got flat borders, flat, and then you got a curved one going on there. And I'm noticing that and I'm going, okay, we've now gone from flat to curve. So I would say try and mirror that a little bit. But I'm liking these. I'm liking what these are doing. The images are good. You've cleverly picked yellow, blue images, which I think is good. Lots of people make this mistake. They have images that are nothing to do with the theme. And you go, your theme is green, and then you've gone and picked purple. Purple can go with green as long as you've used purple elsewhere on your website. Otherwise, it might look a bit odd. Australia's best value telephone internet company. That's really good. I do like this. I do like the rotate. Not everyone likes it, but I like the scroll effect. It's subtle. I mean it's not completely popping, but it does the job. I think that is good. You see what I mean here with the shape divider. If you're going to do it now, you need to kind of do it near the top one as well. But you don't need to do it here. But I would definitely do it here. Right? I hope that makes sense. Let's scroll down. I'm going to say, though, the people coming over is a bit too jarring. Because, look, I might start reading it, but this is when I'm really reading it. Because it's came up and now I'm reading it, but you've now gone and hid it with people. And to read it, I'm having to do this. I'm having to go down, up, right. And I think you don't need those people. You've already done enough with this. with the image rotate there, and you've got a video there as well, okay? And the video starts to play. Let's just check how long it takes to play. Yep, okay, the video plays good. You've already got that going on. You don't need the people. I would say get rid of the people. You don't need that. You've got another video playing there. Again, this actually, I have to be honest, okay? This here, about the 500 gig and all of that, I think this bit here, with the video playing, needs to be, let me get it right, above these people here. So I'm going to say that you've got this bit here, right? You're now telling me about all this other stuff, but I might click here and be gone to a new section, and I've totally missed this. You have obviously put this on your homepage for a reason. This must be one of your flagship products you want people to get. 500 gigabyte wireless broadband, you want people to get this. So I would have this above this. This can come afterwards, right? Everything else can come afterwards. But get that above, higher up, because someone might click on a product and be gone, and you're never going to see them again. More power, more style. Okay, I can see now you've got 3 products. Okay, actually, you've got a load of products. Okay, I'm going to take it back. I can see what you've done now, but I would probably say you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 products, right? Leave 4 of them at the bottom, as you have done. And I like the way they laid out. I like the way they're playing. It feels very professional, but get one of them, pick your flagship one, and get it up here. Right, get it up there so that people know, oh, okay, this gives me more of an indication of what this person or company sells and stuff. Get it up there. The footer, I think is really, really good. I think it's really, really good in what it does. There's a lot of, there's a lot of info there. Some people would say too much, but I think it's really, really good. Super, super good stuff there. I'm just going to check, though, how does this look on the mobile? So on the mobile, you've got your menu. I'm going to say that you make your menu. Now, here's where you have to think a little bit. One of the troubles with Elementor is having a gradient background for your menu, if you've got a gradient color here. And I'm going to say, rather than you do this with the drop down, when you click it, have a pop-up menu instead. So the menu slides in from the left. And then you can have your gradient background, right? With all of this other stuff, whatever you want to have, right? Get it to be a background gradient, because at the moment, that just jars. Can you see? It just doesn't work very well with the menu. So have a pop-up menu. We've got videos for that, all right? You set your icon, calls a pop-up menu from the left, slides in. It's got all your stuff with the blue gradient background. Perfect. This image here for me doesn't work now. So it looks great here, but that is just way too small. I mean, you can't even read the writing. This writing, you can't read it. It now defeats the object of what you got. So I would say create another image. And I would say this image, what you do is you have the lady, and then on this side you have your text, and then underneath you have your circles, like that. So the lady is bigger here. You don't have to see all of her, just half of her coming in when you got the circles. That's going to work better, because right now I'm looking at that and I'm going, what does that say? What does that say? And that's not great for a mobile experience, and that might put me off. I'm going to see that and go, oh, I bet I'm going to have that issue everywhere else in the website. I don't want to, I'll move on. So have a think about that. The sizing for all of these is okay, right? The sizing is fine. The wording is fine. The circles, the rotate. See what I mean here? The circles and the text. I can read it. I get it. But that, I'm squinting, and you now want me to pinch and zoom in. I shouldn't have to pinch and zoom in. I should be able to just look at it and scroll and whatever. So have a think about that. The video, it's all good. That video will play. See what I mean about the products? Get one of them further up because they're really strong, nice. I do like how you have done a different product look. So we got, here's the look for the phone here. Here's the look for the phone here. That's really cool. That shows a lot of thought, my friend. Well done on doing that. I mean, this is all really nice. This is kind of, it's a bit different with how it fades, but I get it. It's okay. And then we get down to here now. Again, the wording is just too small for accessibility. If you're trying to be accessible to like people with visual impairment and whatever, that's going to fail big time. So I would say rather than you having 3 columns, you change that to make every column, make them 50. You got 6 there, right? Make them 50%. So you'll have 2 column, 2 column, 2 column, all right? Because look at the size of this wording here. That is still small, but you can just about get away with it. It just doesn't read well, and I think you need to just change it a little bit there. You are so on the right path with this website. Just some improvements. How does your website look though when we get to the page speed score? So on the desktop, your score is 48%. And a lot of that is going to be your images. So your image sizes, you got to size your images up. Some of your images, I think, there might be 200 kilobytes as a JPEG or whatever, or a PNG. If you convert that from a PNG to a JPEG, that will halve in size from about 130. You go to WebP, I bet that will go down to like 20 kilobytes. Okay, so you can do some big improvement there. You want to work on your desktop, but it's your mobile that I bet is going to be a really 25. Yeah, we're getting a bad score there. Can you see the time it takes to interact? Some of it is your server speed, so purge your server. Get your images into WebP format. I know not everyone agrees with me on that, but that's my rule. Get it into WebP. If you got any optimization plugins, I don't think they're going to help much because of the YouTube stuff. Because you've embedded the player, so it's always going to hit a little bit. But if you can get your images sizes down and you just double check your server, purge your server, not just the site, your server as well, that could improve your page speed. And I would also say you've got loads of fonts that you're probably using from Google. Custom load your fonts. Custom load, and it will save your page speed score. It's going to take a while to get you up to close to 90%, but there's a bit of work going on there. But if your audience are coming, you might go page speed versus performance. You got to weigh it up. However, there's a few improvements you could do here. On the mobile, I think there's a bit more to do just with the layout. But I hope this helps. Go through step by step what I said, and I hope it helps you. But really well done. I like that you've got the color scheme fixed in your mind, and that's really good. Now, the final video we're going to look at here is created by someone called Bommana Ayush, who is from India and 14 years old. So before I start looking at his website, I just want to say, well done. 14 years old, and they're giving this a real good go with Elementor and just web design. And I hope they got education and they're studying as well. But if their plan is to become like a website designer, well done on getting on and joining in and getting on with this. So well done to them. Well done, my friend. Okay. I'm just going to hit return again on this website so you can see the animation that goes on. Did you notice that? There is a little bit of an anomaly here. Watch the sides. White, and then it disappears. So I would say just investigate. What are you doing there? Because it looks to me like, have you got a white section and then you're doing black columns? If so, make your section black, or is your page got a white background? Because I'm going to guess you've got a white background or a white section, and then you're adding in black columns because something's not right there. So your logo comes down and your wording. Now, obviously here, if I stretch the screen, it looks fine. But if I shrink my screen down a little bit like that, I can clearly see here that your menus are overlapping. So I might say you might want to think about your sizing or your spacing. But also, I'm going to say you've got too many items here. I'm not going to go into every page, and you might justify why you got them, but let me explain. We've got services, works. So when you say works, do you mean portfolio? Okay, I said I wouldn't go in, but I'm going to go to it. Right, so some of my works, right? Some of your services. I can now see what you're doing, okay? You've basically got a one-page scroll site. Super, super good. However, services, works, you could almost tie them in together a little bit. You know, works is more like portfolio. Testimonials is fine. They've got my strengths and you've got about me. And then you've got why choose me. I feel like you're repeating yourself a bit there. So if I'm going to be bothered to read who you are, that should convince me why I should choose you. And it should also tell me what you're good at. So change that to be about or about me. You don't need 3 things there. Change all of that to be just one and condense everything. You can still leave them in separate sections, but you don't need 3 separate menu anchors. One menu anchor will be totally fine about me. And then you got contact me. And I'm actually going to now say you got services, works, testimonials, about, contact. Get rid of the me. You don't need it. Because look, it starts to wrap. Get rid of it, okay? On a bigger screen, it wouldn't wrap, but just get rid of it. And change your order. Services, I'm going to say services, work, about, testimonials, contact. Services, works, about, testimonials, contact. They're your 5. Right, just do that. I like the logo. It's a nice logo. I like this mouse effect. This is nice. You know, we all love to do this where we move our mouse around. This is nice. I like the way that when you move over something and then you then get the shaded effect. That is nice. That is really nice. I like the color change. The animation here, that's okay. But this is something I've picked up on and I've mentioned to a lot of people. Hello, I am Ayush and I build websites. I probably worked that out when I found you in Google, because you probably have already said in your Google description or a link somewhere or a referral, oh yeah, Ayush websites. I know this. And then you start to tell me that I'm a website web developer, designer, blah, 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 and I do all this. And then you've got my services and let's talk. And the problem with these, so let me break this all down. There's quite a bit on here that I would change. I would not have that as your headline. I am Ayush and I build websites. What kind of websites? What can your websites do for me? Are they going to help me? Are they going to convert? Lead magnets? Do you specialize in WooCommerce? Do you like to work with businesses, consultants, coaches, personal trainers, shops, zookeepers? What kind of websites do you work with? So you then say, I'm a website web developer and designer with over 3 years experience in this field. You don't need to say with 3 years experience in this field. You don't even have to say 3 years. Why are you telling people you're 3 years? Someone else who's got 30 years, you know, some people might go to the 30 years one, so you don't need to say that. You do mention multi-vendor website. And you also talk about Ocean WP, Astra, WooCommerce, Elementor. If you think about it, as a customer, I don't care what you use. I just want you to build me a website. I'm always going to use Elementor, Hello, and WordPress. When you put Ocean WP, I'm going to go, what? Is that scuba diving? Astra, is that NASA? Space? WooCommerce, what's that? Is that shops? What? I don't get it. What's that? Some people don't understand the wording we use. Elementor? What? They don't understand it. So what you really want to have as your headline is, let's build, let's create awesome multi-vendor websites or individual e-commerce websites. No, let me change it. Let's create amazing multi-vendor websites or an individual e-commerce site for your business. So you are driving it. Let's create for multi-vendor or an individual shop for your business, right? That's what you want to do. Okay, that's your headline, not that. Because what you're doing here is more for the about section. That's the about. Don't take this the wrong way, by the way, Ayush. Okay, don't get upset by this. But truthfully, no one cares who you are, who I am, who Joe is, who John is, who Ramesh is. No one cares. Okay? What people want to know is, what can you do for us? So switch all that to your about page, but over here, let's create multi-vendor websites or individual e-commerce sites for your business. Something like that, okay? Your icons, I like this, but I will say that this needs to be in the middle. It's not in the middle. Get this to be on the middle, all right? Fix it to be 50% VH, whatever. Get it to be in the middle. It's too far down. These buttons are too close together. Space them out, okay? I don't know if you're using custom positioning or inline, but get them spaced out. There's no need for them to be close together. Secondly, these buttons, like, look, they're like, okay, look, I know that if I increase the screen size, they increase out. Can we see that? They are spaced out. However, the point I'm making is that if I do this, there is something wrong with why all I've done is shrunk a little bit. And I do this on all the websites. I've just shrunk a little bit and it's done that. So I think you need to just double check how have you got those set up on your page, because it seems to be using up the full width at the moment and it shouldn't do. Okay, so just have a check of that. My service, I mean, look, you could argue what was the point of that, my services. So I'm actually going to say get rid of that button and just have let's talk. Or, let's get your business online. Let's get your business online is a stronger call to action than let's talk. And my services just goes down one bit. It's irrelevant, in my opinion. You don't need it. This is good. I like the little hover effect. Okay, that's nice. I would say, though, that if you look at that there's a lot of wording. Okay, I would just try and break that into 2 paragraphs, each of them, and also give each of those columns a bit more padding. The padding at the moment on the left and right is next to nothing. Like, look, it's hardly anything there, even at the bottom, even at the top of the icon. Have at least 20 pixels, top and bottom, all the way around, okay? Just to space it out a bit more, okay? Just space it out a bit more. Because look, can you see here the hover effect? The hover effect is crossing into the other column. It's going over the lettering a bit. That's not good. So padding inside 20 pixel and outside, do at least 20 pixel spacing between column 1, column 2, and column 3. Just break it out a little bit. Space a little bit. The colors are good with the white and the orange on the black. All right, that's fine. Some of my work, so you're showing off some websites, some decent examples there. Okay, that's good. With some narrative, that is good. The testimonials is fine. Testimonials are testimonials at the end of the day, but they're fine. What can I do for you? Okay. I'm just checking your sizes. Your sizes are okay. So what can I do for you? Build an e-commerce website. Right, I'm going to pick up on your prices in a moment. This is what you can do, right? So this is all the stuff you can do. So you got 5 things there that you can do, right? Let's just go back to the top. You got my services. What you can do for them, right, needs to be above the works. So before I get to your portfolio, right, you've said you can do da-da-da-da-da. Now I want this stuff. What can I do for you? But you need to change the way you're doing the layout. I think this layout is too spaced out. Okay? Build an e-commerce website, price, and then you've got this description, right? The key features, it's too spaced out. I'm going to say you don't need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just have them as bullets. The design will be simply elegant. Just have them as bullets. So, that entire section is just like that. Right now, it's like that. Have it like that. Because then you can, like, look, just move this page. Let me get that back up there. If I just go here, look, I'm having to scroll quite a lot here. That's a lot of scrolling. Okay, there's no images. There's not a single image. So you got to put an image or a lottie or something to relax me a little bit. It's just a lot of wording. So think about your wording. Not your wording. Your image. You've got this really cool image here. So get a similar image like that relates to the subject matter. Right? Something that relates to the subject matter. And don't do the staggered effect that you've done here. Left to right, because it doesn't work well here. If this was an image, it could work. Because you have image, it work. This does not work because you keep it all on the left-hand side with what you can do for them, okay? And get rid of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have it just as bullets. Now, I do want to comment on your pricing. I, as a company or a client, is going to look at that and go, e-commerce website from $50 to $2,000. Why? That is too big a broader range, right? So I might look at it and go, who pays $50? And you'll go, a basic e-commerce website. And I'll go, okay, that's all I want. But I'm from America, United States. You probably charge $50 to someone in India, I bet. But I'm from America and I want a basic website. And you're going to go 2,000. And I'm then going to say to you, so what would I have got for $50? And you're now entering you're now entering the potential where you're always going to have to do low budget, or you're going to try and charge high budget. But I, as a client, might say, just because I'm in America and this person's in India, if you're able to do it for $50, why are you charging me more? Just because of where I live. So it's now a postcode lottery. A little bit unfair in a way. Of course, we do base pricing sometimes on where people live. We do that. But you don't broadcast it. So what you might want to say is maybe don't put your prices on there. Or you say prices, average price. Maybe you do something like that. But I might say don't put your price on. Do you know what I mean? Maybe. You got to think about what you're doing here, because look, you've done it all the way throughout. 75 to 500, 60 to 500. Like, look here, e-commerce website, 50 to 2,000. Then you got a multi-vendor website, which is more complicated, 60 to 500. The logic just doesn't work very well there. Online course website, 75 to 50. And look, again here, within a week or two, and you're going to charge 2,000. Down here, 14 to 16 days. Double the time, but you're only charging a quarter of the price. So have a think. Have a think about your pricing strategy and make it consistent. Hey, there he is. So good to see you there. This is where, okay, you might want to get the wording up here, right? Down here about who you are and all of this, why they should choose you. Get rid of the choose me bit and have this underneath, okay? Then you got your get in touch. You're missing the footer, but you can almost get away with it because it's a one-page website. But you just need to think about your pricing, consistency, and I think you need a few more images. I think you really, really do need more images. I think it just needs a bit more. Otherwise, it's just black and just orange and white. Just a few more images. Now, in terms of your mobile, okay, the icon coming in, this is good. I like this. Sliding in pop-up, wicked, love it. But remember, shorten this down to just 5. You don't need that many. If you've got any social media, I don't know if you have. Stick the icons on there so people can see who you are. This at the minute is not going to help your page speed score, I bet, when I come to check it. Okay? Because you got your text overrunning, you got this in, you got this image. I would say shrink the image and get your headline text here. Let's create multi-vendor websites and individual e-commerce for your business. Okay? Think about your headline. Get rid of the services bit there because it comes straight after the let's talk. The size of those wording is too small. Yeah, I would say make sure your font size for your REM is at least pixel 14 or REM 1.1. REM 1 is 16 pixels roughly. So, 15, 16 pixels, REM 1, 1.1. Okay, that's too small to read. Some of my works. Yeah, increase the spacing. The testimonials is fine. Let me just check that. Yeah, that's fine. Now here, can you see your padding? Right, so over here, you've got no padding. You've got to have 15 pixels padding left and right. You've got to bring things in a bit. Having it too close never looks good on a mobile. You've got to have some breathing space. So make sure you space it out. Now, can you see what I mean? If you had bullets here, that would all just be 6 lines like that. It would probably fit here. Right now, I'm having to go like that, like that. Look, I'm going. It's a lot of scrolling, right? So I would say sort that out. Pull it. Now, if I go back to your page here where you got the About Me, right, over here, there's you. But can you see here, we have a right angle cut here to where your arm is, right? Get an orange circle, right? Use Canva, get an orange circle and put yourself in the orange circle with an orange background. Canvas, dead easy to do, right? That's going to look better than just having that because I can clearly see it's a photo cut out with the lighting, but the right angle cut is just too sharp. It's just too blocky. So have it as a rounded effect and that will work better here as well. Orange is your theme. With you inside, it's going to look so much smarter, much better. Font size, increase that. Font size again, increase that. And then you got your icon there below. So I think you're on the right path. You just need to work a little bit on your layout in terms of what goes where. Your font size, bullets for your services and all of that as well. Your desktop is 65. And what's letting you down is the image sizing, okay? And you might just want to double check if you've got any optimization, okay, loaded. Auto optimize, I recommend. For your mobile, though, 18%, okay? And it's like I said, it's this bit here which is hitting you big time. Oops, sorry, let me get the website. Where are we? Where's the icon? There it is. So this is hurting you. And the reason it's hurting you is because you got stuff that is not above the fold. So your text is going beyond the scroll, the website. The fold is what sits before you have to scroll. So you've got to sort that out. Look at your images, WebP format. Are you running any optimization plugins like Auto Optimize? I recommend that. Watch the video on it. I don't think you've preloaded any fonts. Also with Elementor, have you activated the experiments in Elementor? So you go into WordPress, Elementor, go to experiments or wherever it is, and have you activated the DOM, the accessibility and all of that? Because I think if you do that, it's going to help. Because what you got to remember, just being a web designer and developer is good. But if you are able to understand performance and things like that and page speed, it's another, feather to your belt. And it can help show what you're good and capable of. So really have a good think about that. I think the fact that you've done all of this is so impressive and good. And I think you just need to be guided a little bit. So don't just look at what other... There's going to be loads of web designers out there, I know, that do this approach. Hey, I am X. I build websites. That's not the best approach. Headline. What are you doing? What is the problem you solve? I create this. We can do this. This is how we do it. Then come on to who you are right near the bottom. Well done, Bommana. Well done. This is seriously good. Okay, Ayush. Sorry, it's Ayush, isn't it? Not Ayush Bommana. Bommana Ayush. It's Ayush Bommana. Well done. Keep up the good work, and I hope this helps you out. Okay, I really hope this helps you out. So hey, we've just done 5 websites. That was quite a long video, wasn't it? And not everyone's going to agree with my opinion or my feelings between layout and how things should look. But it's just me giving an objective view of how I think they could improve it in terms of styling or layout. But anyone who's watched this, I hope it helps you out. And if you want your homepage reviewed while we're still doing it, before I get tired of doing it, email info@websquadron.co.uk. And we might do a review of your website, how it looks on mobile, and a quick look at your page speed insights as well. Look, I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow, and join in, and take care, and I'll keep seeing you.